But it also feels like there are challenges for crypto, at least in the near term. And you mentioned it in regard to mainstream adoption. Now, maybe that clears up. Maybe as time passes, maybe that adoption as a medium of exchange, maybe that becomes a little bit more commonplace. I mean, I don't see a big reason today why I need to go to the store and pay for something with Bitcoin. I mean, it just yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any real advantage. Um, but I mean, given what we know today, given the small steps these companies are taking, it feels like maybe that mainstream adoption right now doesn't even matter.
Well, as far as mainstream adoption as a currency, there's two use cases. There's adoption as a currency and kind of as a store of value.
Yeah.
So as a currency, I see three main obstacles to really mainstream adoption of Bitcoin. One, it's very volatile. You don't want to buy a type of currency that could be worth twice or half as much in a week.
Right.
And if you don't think Bitcoin could do that, look at some of the charts from the past few years. Bitcoin
Well,
can,
yeah.
go up or down by a few $1,000s in a week.
Yep.
So that's another thing. You don't want the volatility scares people away. Number two, there are too many cryptocurrencies, and it's easy to make a new one. So when I was checking just before we were on the show, there are over 4,100 active cryptocurrencies right now.
Wow.
I mean, most of them aren't big, but there are a lot of big ones. There's over 10 that have $1 billion market cap or higher. There's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there, and it's pretty easy for institutions, if they want to make their own.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the idea of Bitcoin at first was one central currency, but if there's 4,000 of them floating around, it's not really that it defeats the purpose. And number three, as you mentioned, it's easy. There are some really easy ways to pay with US dollars right now.
Sure.
I mean, with a lot of these fintech innovations, I mean, I tap my wallet on a card reader at some places now, and I can make a payment. I mean, U.S. dollars aren't that tough to use anymore.
No.
So, in my mind, for Bitcoin to get mainstream acceptance, it needs to do something that you can't do with dollars. Which I get that there's a lot of use case for international money transfer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But between volatility and the fact that there's literally thousands of them, and the innovations in dollar-based fintech, I really can't make the mainstream use case myself. But apparently a lot of people disagree because, Bitcoin, there's $359 billion worth of Bitcoin out there right now, and it's not over $19,000 a piece. And so apparently some people agree and are buying it. But.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be argued certainly that there's a lot of speculation in that market. I'd be willing to bet that a lot of people that are speculating in that market don't really understand exactly how it works. I mean, I can't sit there and say that I fully understand how it all works. My basic understanding is, though, that there's a fixed amount, right? I mean, there's a fixed amount of Bitcoin. So if you have something that is limited in supply, that obviously will make a difference in something like dollars, for example, as we've seen. Not limited in supply, Matt. They can kind of just print them off of.
That's the big argument for Bitcoin being a store of value,
right?
In that it's essentially inflation proof in that sense. U.S. dollars, the government can always print more of them, which they do pretty regularly. Yeah. And with Bitcoin, that's not the case. There's a finite amount. So as a store of value, it can make sense. But if that's the big use case, then who cares if you can use it at PayPal's merchants if it's just a store of value?
Yeah.
So that Bitcoin really needs to, in my mind, decide which way it's going to go. And I mean, like I said, I can't make a use case for owning Bitcoin as a store of value over gold right now, and I can't make a case of using it as a payment over US dollars. So.